Hey guys, Eric here from Podcast Connection, and today I just want to share this really awesome infographic with you guys about how you can get more web traffic as a podcast guest. The podcast guest culture or industry is really growing. There's an increasing amount of podcasts basing their content on a Q&A with an expert in a certain field, and I see a lot of people they don't really know how to get the most amount of traffic to their website and get people to really remember their brand and how and where to find their brand after an interview on a certain podcast. So hopefully this will really give you a lot of value and help you guys for the interviews you'll do in the future. Right, let's get into it. So the first point is choose one main landing page. Avoid directing podcast listeners to different web pages within your website. I see a lot of people, because it's a Q&A, there's a lot of different things you're talking about, and your natural tendency, if you've got a lot of blogs on your website, every different point that you're talking about, you might want to direct people to a certain blog on your page that talks about that. But try and avoid that. It becomes a little difficult to remember everything that you've said within the podcast and every page like you've mentioned. So if you have a landing page that's designed to convert new customers or capture leads, try and only stick to that one landing page and mention it a few times throughout the blog, and you'll find that a lot of people remember your brand and remember where to find your brand a lot easier. Is your page slug easy to say and easy to remember? This is the next point. So saying something like mybusiness.net/30FJ37, etc. Sometimes web pages automatically generate a random slug like this, and it really becomes very difficult for people to find your brand. No one's going to remember that slug. So make sure that whoever designs your website, they simplify these slugs and make them as easy to remember as possible. For instance, mybusiness.net/contact or /find us or whatever the pages that you want to direct people to. Moving on to the next point, refrain from saying www. If you've got a website, it's a given that your prefix is www. Saying it every time makes you sound a little old school and outdated, and that reflects on your brand as well. Most web browsers will automatically put the prefixes in, so all you have to say is mybusiness.com. That's perfectly fine. It rolls off the tongue and it adds to the memorability of it. Next point, don't just say it, spell it out. You'll be surprised how many people misspell words and business names and can't find you just for that reason, especially if your business is a made-up name like donutty.com. You want to make absolutely 100% sure people know how to spell it, because that's where they're going to find you after the podcast. They're going to type it into Google and find your business. So make sure you spell it out for them to make it easier to remember. It also, again, adds to the memorability factor there. And then the last point is ask the host to add your URL to the show notes. Almost every podcast has a website where they keep notes of the shows afterwards. And if it's a Q&A, if the majority or the chunk of that episode was the Q&A with you as a guest, you're the main source of content. So most of the time they'd be more than happy to actually add your URL to that show notes page. So just ask. Some guests or hosts rather might be a little weary about it, or they might get a little weird about it, but always just ask. If you can get a backlink to your website, that's extra SEO for you, and it just makes it easier for podcast listeners of that show to find your website once again. And that's about it for this infographic. Guys, I really hope that you found a lot of value in this, and remember to click in the link in the description of this post. You can download this absolutely free. You can also visit podcastconnection.org for more information about what we do, or go to our Facebook page, give us a like to get more content like this. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.